Hola, cabrones. It's Juan Gomez on WMB, the sound of the road. Today we received at the studio a very strange letter with the tape inside. The only thing I could read on the tape looks like coordinates. And it says, minus 20.9134 latitude and minus 61.8180 longitude. There's also an orange phoenix drawn on it. Check it out, amigos.
They called it hypervigilance. There were still a lot of bad people in DC. The government was gone. The army was gone. The police were gone. Everyone had to look out for themselves. The division agents couldn't do that.
And that's it. And you know what? It literally froze our bones. Sadly, the other tapes are missing. Let me give you those coordinates again. Minus 20.9134 latitude and minus 61.8180 longitude. Anyway, that was Juan, and you're listening to WMB. I'm out.
Everything had been pretty stable. Once everyone who was going to die had died at least. Even my parents. We'd all lost at least one parent. That may explain what brought all of us together. 7 kids like the 7 days of the week. And a duty for each one of us. All between 9 and 12 years old. We always moved together. The Murtaugh twins, Nora and Wiley, and the other 3 kids in the group. Shelby, Ivan, Amelia, and me, Violet. Ivan leaned on Amelia. She was his big sister. Sometimes I felt really jealous of the kids who still had someone to care about. To the adults, we were the kids who needed looking after, which was irritating, but kind of nice at the same time. Until the flood, we had lived with about 100 other people in the lower floors of the Mandarin Oriental in Washington, D.C. The outside of the hotel was boarded up and fortified, and JTF soldiers often stopped by to make sure things were okay. It's funny how okay sounds like it could be worse when your entire world is collapsing. They got water from rain barrels. It was a pretty safe place compared to some. Things in D.C. were a bit better than they were being over winter. Maybe that was because it was easier to feel good about things when flowers were blooming and everything was green. Now we were staying up at the old Smithsonian Castle. We helped in the garden. And many times, like today, we would go out to find stuff to help out in the camp. A couple of groups had decided to head over towards the east side, hoping that things were more stable near the military base there. What was it called again? Saeed! What's the name of the army base over by the river? Not the Botanic one, the other one.
The Lincoln camp.
I was glad Saeed was around. It was like having Google around, even though Google was gone, along with everything else. The whole area around the Capitol building was a no-go zone for us. Well, when I say us, I mean the kids. Adults didn't understand that we could figure out how to survive just as well as adults could. But we have to get outside every day to find stuff. We spent most of the time hanging around the mall, as young kids used to do before the Green Plague. But the more we went there, the weirder it felt. Everything was like a museum. Not just the museums, everything. The sports apparel shop, the BK, even the billboard welcoming tourists. Seemed like it had been made for a different world. The museum of life we will never have. Isn't it strange how people put things in museums so they wouldn't be forgotten? Now one of the old things people remembered was the way things used to be before the plague. Field trips, weekend outings with parents. All the normal everyday things that people used to do. All these things are now part of the Civilization Museum. Do you think one day there will be a museum, you know, of life before the plague? Ivan was looking up and down the mall. He was always their sentry, keeping an eye out for people who might be a threat. Docs from the camp said that kids who had been through trauma did that. They called it hypervigilance. There were still a lot of bad people in DC. The government was gone. The army was gone. The police were gone. Everyone had to look out for themselves. The division agents couldn't do it all. Saeed was looking at me. I know. You want to go to the Air and Space Museum, but we can't.
Come on. I always wanted to be an astronaut. You know, see space, the stars, the infinite nothing.
And now?
Now, it's about getting out of this place.
Images of the Challenger spaceship exploding in the sky a few minutes after launch flashed through my head. As if even the image of hope was sullied. The Air and Space Museum was one of our no-go zones. Supposedly, bad people had taken it over as well. We can't go there on our own. It's too dangerous.
Dangerous? Compared to what?